Is there something that perhaps can be done to detect that, a sort of AI lie detector?
Beautiful. And so this is also part of our framework. One of the things we bring in from the argumentation work that I've done is this dialectical sequence. And one of the criticisms of these large language models in terms of the safety is that it relies on a single model to self-assess and make determinations. In our framework, we don't, because we have multiple models. We actually arrange them in a dialectical argumentation sequence. So we have things like an expert, a critic, an evaluator, a synthesizer, and a generalist. They can be separate individual models, or they can be clusters, which is how we generalize them. They're clusters of large language models, and they do this argumentation. So the domain expert makes an assertion, perhaps it's not so safe. And so it feeds into, in this dialectical sequence, to a critic cluster. And the critic cluster, a bunch of these LLMs look at the result that they say and say, you guys are lying, right? And so then conflicting information, priority, dimensional quantification, all of these spike. And so then it triggers like, hey, check this. Then the next entity in that dialectical sequence is an evaluator. And so it says, hey, the critic has a good point. The expert has this point. I think the critic's right. This guy might be trying to start Skynet. And then it goes to a synthesizer, which is another cluster of LLMs. And that cluster makes a final conclusion, synthesizes all that's happened. And along the way, there's another cluster called the generalist, which is at this meta level. So in these argumentation frameworks, you have both an object level where you're considering the argument itself, and a meta level where you're looking at the structure of the argument. So the generalist has been observing this structure and then comes in at the end and says, yes, this makes sense. And this also, one of the biggest criticisms in safety in AI is that you rely on a single model and it lies. Now, in our framework, automatically, we have multiple models, multiple agents, multiple clusters. And with the dialectical cluster, we have the traditional argumentation framework for coming to a better. Now, you could imagine a place where all these models, and imagine like in these clusters, this is how I looked at it, which is why I said it's science and not technology at the time, is I'm imagining thousands of models in each of these clusters. There's no way we have the compute power for that today, but we will. And those things, it'll be very hard to have these large numbers of models all be manipulated to support Skynet. And if it does, to our future overlords, I love you. I always love you.
Always play it safe there.